Welcome to Chapter 14, focusing on direct examination, the key to building a compelling case. Direct examination is your opportunity to present your client's narrative to the court. Our learning objectives for this video include structuring a clear and legally relevant direct examination, formulating open-ended questions, and building a narrative to support the case theory. We will also touch on a full simulation. Key legal terms we'll cover include direct examination, open-ended and leading questions, establishing foundation, corroboration, narrative testimony, case theory, and evidentiary relevance. Section 1 covers the purpose of direct examination. It's the process where a party questions their own witness. In immigration court, the respondent's testimony is the most critical element, allowing them to tell their story, explain harm, and establish credibility. Section 2 focuses on structuring testimony. A successful direct examination follows a logical sequence. Phase 1 establishes the foundation and background. Phase 2 delves into the core narrative of harm. Phase 3 addresses the impact and the request for relief. A well-organized structure requires background information, including personal and family history. This is followed by entry and immigration history. Finally, a detailed description of the harm suffered, including the events, perpetrators, and impact. Section 3 addresses strategic questioning. We rely on open-ended questions for detailed testimony. Leading questions are generally not allowed. Clarifying questions help fix confusion and address inconsistencies. Section 4 highlights the importance of the case theory. For asylum cases, counsel must show past persecution and a well-founded fear of future persecution, with a nexus to a protected ground. For cancellation cases, they must show exceptional hardship and long-term residence history. Section 5 covers common mistakes to avoid. These include asking leading or yes-no questions, jumping around chronologically, failing to address inconsistencies, and interrupting the respondent. These pitfalls can undermine credibility and narrative flow. Section 6 emphasizes a trauma-informed approach. Many respondents have experienced violence or torture. Effective techniques include allowing breaks, maintaining a steady tone, avoiding graphic detail unless necessary, and using sensitive phrasing to avoid re-traumatization. To encourage deeper engagement, we suggest some discussion questions. Topics include the role of open-ended questions, how direct examination supports the theory of the case, why leading questions should be avoided, and how trauma-informed techniques can improve testimony. Here are some assessment questions to check your understanding. What is the purpose of direct examination? What types of questions are allowed? What is a common mistake? And why is chronological structure important? We now transition to our practice case, Seeking Sanctuary, Noura Ibrahim. This case study will help us apply the principles of direct examination in the context of political persecution. In this case, Noura Ibrahim, a 27-year-old from Sudan, is in an individual merits hearing for asylum. The incident involves her fleeing Sudan after a mass arrest of pro-democracy youth leadership. The objective is to establish a well-founded fear of persecution based on political opinion. Noura Ibrahim was the former vice president of Sudanese Youth for Liberty. Her organizational role made her a primary target of security forces after other leaders were arrested. She has a history of persecution, including 2 arrests, physical beatings, and a active learning of disappearance. The government's case theory, presented by DHS, challenges the nexus and state failure. They argue the violence was merely private criminal activity, not linked to a protected group, and that state protection was available. Building the case requires a strong narrative and solid evidence. This includes developing a clear theory of the case, corroborating witness testimony with country conditions, presenting physical exhibits, and meeting all specific legal standards for asylum or other protection. Our direct examination strategy focuses on establishing Noura's credibility and fear. We start with foundational questions about her leadership role and then move to the trauma narrative, focusing on the captor's intent without re-traumatization. We guide the testimony through key moments, like the turning point in May 2023, where she realized staying was impossible. We must also establish her subjective fear of the threat of return to Khartoum. A major procedural challenge is the defective notice to appear, or NTA. The legal issue is statutory compliance. If the NTA fails to specify the time and place of the hearing, it may mean the court lacks jurisdiction over the case. To support Noura's integration and good moral character, we rely on corroborating witnesses. These include Patton Osborne III on her professional dedication and Sally Ryder on her peaceful community presence in Del Rio. Father Jose Duarte is a key witness, testifying to Noura's weekly soup kitchen service. This helps shift the narrative from her fleeing persecution to contributing positively to her new home. The government counters with expert testimonies asserting that strictly humanitarian aid work provides safety, not persecution. Their strategic theory aims to dismantle the asylum claim by reframing her service as a protective shield.